Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. I hope you've all had a triumphant Tuesday. I know I certainly have. Today, we're going to be diving into Cardano, and I don't even know where to start this video off. There is so much taking place within the Cardano ecosystem. We're going to try and cram it all into a 10-minute or so video. So strap yourselves in, guys. What we're going to do in this video is we're going to be looking at the charts, and I'm going to be issuing a little bit of a warning. It's very easy to FOMO in when you see this kind of a price action, because we all know that a big move for Cardano is coming. It's a matter of when, not if at this point. But there is a little bit of a word of warning in the sense that we have seen similar structure to this previously, and it has led to further downside. But we will be talking about that. You know, Cardano is going to new all-time highs, ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion. Not financial advice. It's just a matter of when, not if, like I say. But we are going to get there. You know, this crypto is very early on the journey that it's on. I mean, we're only starting to see some of our dApps launch. So we'll be diving into the chart, starting with the monthly and working our way right the way down to the daily. We're going to be talking about a lot of the news. Some of the main news is the fact, and we covered this in our earlier video yesterday in the sense that Grayscale are offering this, but the number one cryptocurrency that Grayscale are offering in their latest fund focused on smart contract platforms that aren't Ethereum is indeed Cardano. So we're going to be covering that. This is from Paul PM. We're going to be getting into this, showing that we've seen a huge uptick in whales recently, and we've been saying this time and time again, even though you've had other YouTubers come out and try and discredit this because they have a bias towards another cryptocurrency, even though you can literally view it for yourselves on chain. This is another kind of proving factor of this, as we've seen a huge uptick in new pools opening with a significant amount of Cardano actually in each one. Going over the transaction volume, we'll start with this article before we get into the charts, and this is from CoinDesk. It's amazing to see CoinDesk actually give Cardano some sort of a spotlight. For years, they avoided it, just like a lot of your mainstream crypto influencers won't even mention Cardano. They'll mention everything but the tides are changing, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a long time coming for Cardano. We'll also talk about a DEX that's launched that's offering some pretty insane APRs currently, so we'll get into it all. Like I said, lots to get through. Let's start off with this article. Crypto reclaims 2 trillion capitalization. Cardano ADA leads gains in majors. So that's certainly nice to see us even get mentioned in CoinDesk. And we're going to get mentioned more and more as things progress, because there's something undeniable happening with ADA, and that's what the explosion that's taking place within the ecosystem that ultimately should drive the usage and utility for Cardano, which is, of course, the platform that they're built upon. Let's talk about the timeframes, guys. Hopefully, we get the first green candle month in what has now been 7 months. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hopefully, we get the first green candle here. It is a bit of a hammering wick, which is, of course, nice to see. I'd like to get above this EMA. Let's dive down to the weekly, and then let's take a look at the daily. It is a nice little pump, and we have said every time, EMAs are not the be-all and end-all, but they can be quite a good gauge to whether a market is overbought or oversold, in the sense that if you're extremely overextended to one way or the other, it's typical that you will get a return move to your EMA. You can see that's become prevalent throughout Cardano's entire history, and we are definitely making our way up there. This is not bear market structure. We've said this time and time again. Whenever the price is dropping, you get the same crowd show up, the same bears show up saying it's a bear market, even though if you look at Bitcoin, which is the main indicator, if you will, of a bear market, it's not bear market structure that we're seeing. In fact, it's probably continuation structure on a new venture that crypto is now on. We're moving away from the Bitcoin 4-year cycle theory that's obviously centered around the halvenings and into something different. So it's very typical that you do see a return move. It's whether we return to this and reject off it to go lower or not that's the real telling question. And we have been highlighting these indicators. The MACD is a really big one, because every time you get across here, which is where your blue line goes essentially above your orange line, you do see a move to the upside. This has historically been the case. So hopefully we are set for one of them, and we certainly are if we continue on the trajectory that we're on. Also, your stock RSI looks pretty good, and your RSI, I mean, we were at a lower point than we'd ever been in Cardano's history for that. So this all signals that a bottom is near, if not already in. But there is a word of a warning that I want to sort of issue going into this pump, because we have seen similar structure. I like to see this. This could be a perfect cup and handle that you could find your support off your EMA when it sort of creeps up on the daily. But we have seen similar structures like this before, and a lot of what kills it, you guys know, I mean, it's amazing to see a pump for Cardano. You guys know the last times we pumped, it's been Bitcoin in the crypto market that's just dragged us straight down. And that is still a threat. So these are not FOMOing markets. March 2020 onwards was indeed FOMOing markets because you essentially had the Fed that had your back. You know, they self-admit that they flooded the system with money, and that gave us such a flourishing bull market that we've seen. And now we're at the back end of that, and we've got a lot of uncertainty on the table. So it's important to always remember that. One reason I continue to dollar cost average into Cardano and deploy my capital into it is because I believe in the long-term vision of it. So I'm a comfortable hodler. I'm a happy hodler, and I can ride out the volatility. I've been here for 5 years. It's worked for me so far. And I ultimately have the overarching belief that I think cryptocurrency it is changing the world. It's going to play a big role in the world that we are moving towards. And the reason being is because it's more efficient than the kind of systems that we currently have in place. That's really the simplicity of it. And it also takes out a third-party participant, certainly when you're talking about your smart contracts. So the charts are out the way, guys. Let's dive into the news. We covered this in our earlier video. We put out a daily cryptocurrency market video every single day where we cover markets in general. Well worth a watch. We are going to start a newsletter, and we've got a number of other things coming for the channel that I'm really, really excited about. But we'll share that with you. I don't really want to talk too much about them. I'm all about getting them done first and then talking about them after. So Grayscale's latest fund focused on smart contract platform. The world's largest digital currency asset manager introduces its 18th investment project. The fund's top holdings are Cardano and Solana. Grayscale investors are not looking to pick winners, CEO Michael says. And there is not going to be, undoubtedly, there's going to be one dominant smart contract blockchain, but there's going to be multiple winners. There's going to be multiple systems used. On this list alone, you know, you guys know I like POLKADOT. You guys know I like Algorand. Of course, I like Cardano. So, you know, there's a lot, and that's not taking anything away from Avalanche or Solana. You know, Solana is still really an experiment. It's not. They all have their different ways of doing things, and ultimately there's going to be multiple winners, but one's going to be more dominant, and it looks like Grayscale are kind of backing Cardano for that, and this, of course, is the fund. This is the next thing that I really want to move on to. 23 new Cardano pools with more than 62 million staked ADA. Each have been created during the last 12 hours, increased by about 1.5 billion ADA. The total stakes now close to 74%. If any of those whales want to move over to my pool, ALLIN is the ticker. Feel free if it's getting a little bit too saturated. A bit of self-promotion never hurt anybody. But all jokes aside, you know, what this is really showing you is that, you know, this is a huge uptick. And these guys are setting up pools, staking, and essentially going to leave it there. And this coincides with the data statistics that we've shown you that have shown whales really aggressively step in round about this price. These prices and accumulate. Your 1 to 10 million ADA wallets have really ramped up their accumulation, and it's great to see. You know, there's something I can't stress enough to you guys how excited I am every single day about the fact that we have stumbled across a industry that is so infantile in regards to where it's going. It's just been born, ladies and gentlemen. It's like going back in time and having the opportunity to invest in the internet stocks or the PC stocks, or, you know, you name it. This is what Cardano and crypto, in my opinion, offer. So this is always really nice to see. It's nice to see the number of staked Cardano going up again after it was sort of decreasing. Everything for Cardano is going up, ladies and gentlemen, whether that be wallets, whether that be staked addresses, whether that be assets being built on top of the blockchain, whether that be projects, you name it, it's coming, or is it already here and continuing to excel. Cardano's last 24-hour transaction volume is 4 times higher than Bitcoin at 68 billion. There's a reason why that a lot of people are just completely mislooking. Cardano uses a UTXO, an extended UTXO model in most cases, and it counts transaction volume slightly differently, but that doesn't take away from, you know, it doesn't quite add up 100% that Cardano is number one. And there are fundamental reasons why it is, like how volume and value is actually accounted for. But what this really is showing us that, you know, people love Cardano. I love Cardano. You guys love Cardano. It's a blockchain that's really got an amazing community. We've always said that's the secret weapon that Cardano has. You guys haven't been bought and paid to be here. You're here because you enjoy what is the people's crypto, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we covered this. Now let's talk about Meow Swap, which I noticed on Twitter earlier. I wasn't actually following these guys. It's very interesting how you just get people like this pop up out of the blue. And, you know, essentially what caught my eye earlier was this. Of course, this caught my eye. As a farmer, nothing but a humble farmer, the yield farming opportunities really caught my eye here. And I actually have, with an extremely small amount, because I haven't even checked this DEX out yet, so please do your due diligence. I have not checked this DEX out. I am not saying that it is a good idea whatsoever, but you know they have just launched. I know they were incubated at Occam Fi, I believe, and they are still offering some pretty cool yield farming opportunities, but they do still have very low liquidity overall. If you look at your total value locked, it's next to nothing, guys, in the grand scheme of things. And of course, the yield farming opportunities that you get, I believe, will be in the Meow token. But you can connect your wallet, play around with them. Please do your due diligence, because I am not backing these guys whatsoever. I'm just saying that they're a new DEX that's launched. Their Meow price of their token is, of course, there. And if you guys are looking for some yield farming opportunities, please do so. I need to make videos on every single DEX, all the DEXs that are out doing tutorials. Apologies for not doing that, guys. We've just been so busy. I'm working on something at the moment that I think the community is really going to appreciate. I'm looking to prove, what's the word here? I'm looking to prove that I'm the real deal in regards to knowing what I'm talking about in relation to Cardano, the projects that are building on top of it and everything else. And I think this is a way that I can show you, but we'll talk about that more when I get closer to launching it. So yeah, that is really all I have for you in this video, guys. It's a super exciting time to be alive. Remember, word of warning here, don't FOMO in. If you see a pullback, very common when you get these kind of movements. Wow, I don't even know what that is. When you get these kind of cup and handles that's potentially forming, you know, you get a bit of a pullback. Maybe look for a pullback to enter, but then again, also watch the volume. You don't want to see huge sell pressure come in because it will squash it. And the real thing to watch overall is Bitcoin. Bitcoin starts having a bad day, it's going to take its anger out on you guys. Back to the weekly time frame very quickly. Again, remember what's coming. Basel hard fork. Prior hard forks have been always seen a run up. Are we gonna see one to this one? Potentially. And we know that whales are certainly positioned for that. So that is really all I have for you in this video, guys. Apologies for making it a little bit of a longer one. There's just so much to cover, so much I'm excited about. I hope you guys have enjoyed this content. If you have, a like is always appreciated. So is a comment. Lots of you aren't subscribed that watch my videos daily. If you guys can do me a favor, you'll get 5 years good luck for doing so. Subscribing, hitting that notification bell, and I'll catch you all in the next YouTube video. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesdays, and I'll catch you all in the next one.